here.
Yes.
Yeah, and really lean into both of those.
I'm going to do that tonight.
Yeah, both are really powerful right now. Why don't we just do it here?
Yeah.
Together. Is coming to an end. Confusion is coming to an end.
Ignorance, blindness, knows coming to an end.
I like the ignorance one. Wow. Yeah.
Transcend ignorance to wisdom.
Birthing curiosity.
Yeah, curiosity. That's a new energy. That's a future intention. I choose more of that. I choose more curiosity.
What do we need to know?
Choices, paths, directions.
The momentum of old energy coming to an end.
And the power of new energies coming through.
Yes.
Embrace.
Oh.
On the ride. I thought I'd missed it. As I'm so excited to know I haven't.
Yeah. You said grace. Yeah. Yeah, that's an energy I want. More experience of grace.
Yes.
More experience of compassion.
Yeah. And understanding.
Ooh, and this one. This is one of my favorites. Mercy.
Like surrendering, you mean?
Yeah, that too.
Releasing the struggle, the suffering, replacing with curiosity,
Yeah,
and
baby.
grace, replacing with grace,
Yes.
dropping the struggle, replacing grace. Releasing that skin.
Understand that you're all that. You are compassion. You are grace. But you put limit towards it.
Ooh,
Pascal.
yeah.
I ask I don't know, you call it like a guru or something. Yesterday, I asked him like, what is the one secret that keeps humanity in the dark? And then he says, we are limitless. All our limit is self-imposed.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I
true.
heard that, but like it's like hearing for many, many times, I tangibly understand what it means.
Yeah.
It shifts something inside of me. And I think that's the key. Not just hearing the words, but experience it. And that's true understanding.
Good morning, Cinderella.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, little Cindy.
Good morning, big brother.
I'm wee Craig today.
Oh, we Craig. Okay. You're walking in your innocence.
You betcha. We're exploring in this time of solstice. We're exploring old energies running out of momentum and new energies replacing them.
Yeah. Yes. I've been experiencing that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we were talking about grace and compassion And the last thing we talked about was limitlessness.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, so we take on things as we're growing up and being aware of who we are in this space called Earth. And I remember that I was about maybe 6 years old, and I got this coat. Oh man, it was just like great. It was a red coat. It had a pendulum bottom from the waist down. It had, like, when you buttoned it, the buttons just slid into the opening and just buttoned so graciously. I mean, that thing, it was, I could wear a light sweater under it and it was still very comfortable and not bulky. I could wear my special crinoline dresses under it, and so I had on this great coat, and I could take off this great coat and have on a beautiful sweater, and I could have on a beautiful dress. But if I never took the coat off, it just went perfectly with my black patent leather shoes. Man, that coat was great. I wanted to wear it all the time. But of course, I couldn't wear it to school. So every time I went out with my mom, I would go grab my coat. The fabric was just like not even heavy, but it kept me warm. It was a great coat. And it was, every time I put it on, it was just an excitement of wherever we were going. It was magical because I had on that red coat. But something was happening. My body was growing. I was growing. And then one day I went for the coat and it wasn't there. As great as that coat was, I was like, where's my coat? There was a new coat. It was a lot more practical. It was a good coat, but the old coat had to go away. And it was for somebody else to grow into. And I had to grow into another coat.
Wow.
Sometimes things have to go away so we can grow into a new coat.
Yeah, you caught the spirit of this energy that we're in right now perfectly. What a great metaphor and story. Oh my. Little Cindy's hot today.
Y'all started this. Y'all always start me off.
It's just a thing,
Yeah. It's a beingness. It's a beingness. So
Yeah, they don't make coats like that anymore, do they?
and
Like that
and
little
then
red one.
No. No.
But you grew it out of it.
Sure did.
Oh darn.
Sure did. Asked me if I could put on that coat today. Couldn't even get an arm in it.
Did you feel limitless when you were wearing that jacket or this coat?
Oh, magical. Everything was magical. Like the adventures of life was just opening up, She was like, "Bloop, bloop, 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 yeah." It didn't matter where I was going or what I was doing, but I was being limitless in that coat.
It's interesting because I have a life parallel to that too, and it
How
has to
so?
do with my Saturn return that happens at about when you're about 29, between 29 and 30 years old. The planet Saturn ends up at the same place in the zodiac as it was when you were born. And there's major life adjustments that happen then. And so the first 30 years of my life, I lived very fearlessly and without limits, which is kind of surprising as I look back on it now. And then the second 30 years of my life, I kind of explored the darker sides of that, like being limited and trying to fit into the old energy structure and the old energy box and all that kind of thing. And so here I am in my third 30-year stretch, and I want the first one back. So it's kind of like, it's kind of a different journey now.
Was your
Yeah.
second 30 years you answering to what's called responsibility and conformity and rules?
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. I had direct experience with all kinds of oppression, like things like injustice and betrayal and limited structure, like things like society's idea of what marriage is and trying to fit into that. And having direct experience with all of those things, like the dark side of humanity and the dark side of the dark side of society. And the dark side of myself, of course, that I didn't really know existed until I was that age and moved into that.
Would you say it was necessary?
Oh yeah. Necessary for me, not necessarily necessary for everyone, but it was necessary for me and my life path. Because the first 30 years, even though I was fearless and limitless, I had no idea of my power. Now that I've been through the dark side, I can step back into fearlessness and limitlessness, but with power this time, because my power was actually hiding in the dark.
See, for me, it's the opposite. My first 30, 35 years was limited. And now that I understand my true power, then like the flowers are blooming.
So isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but part of it is like the household, the environment that I lived in, right? Now I'm like by myself, you know, like far from everybody, really, right? Like,
Yep. Yep.
so it was necessary, you know, and
Yeah.
I made the choice of staying here. I could have go back, right? But there
Right.
was some force that was like, no, you should stay here,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You want to be
Yep.
away from them. And then like, so I did the gene key yesterday.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like,
You did the what? What did I miss?
it's called a gene key. We talked about this like for the last couple calls. And it's like you're putting your birthday and then like time. It's kind of astrology, I guess, but it's different. I don't really understand it yet, but like it read me to the T.
Yeah.
You know, it was saying something like that I spark things in people. And the other thing was like, but you got to be patient before talking. Because if you talk right away, people might not understand you. And that happened like so many times in my life. And then because I wanted to belong, like I was like always like, you know, try to talk and then like try to be interested or interesting instead of be interested. So now I'm more interested in their story and then instead than being interesting. But yeah, it was just like, yeah. And it was just, you know, it wasn't much, right? Like, but
No.
whatever they say, it's, yeah.
But it really rang a bell for you, didn't it?
Yeah. And it says like, accomplishment doesn't mean anything to you. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were like, yeah, you're kind of the black sheep. Like you want to be with people, but you don't want to be in a box. Right. And my job is
Yeah.
kind of like that. I mean, you know, so it's just like, whoa. Yeah.
You know what's amusing about that is that it was about 4,000 years ago that the 64 the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching were actually mapped to the zodiac mandala. About 4,000 years ago. And so here we are 4,000 years later, and we're actually matching up our own astrology to that particular pattern. And it is so uncannily accurate. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I've got like the exact time too, right?
Oh, do you? Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. And it's
you know,
another
it's
11.
accurate.
It's another 11.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Does that surprise
11,
you?
11, and 11/17 is my
Wow.
birth
Three
time.
ones. 3 1s and a 7. How's that?
It's amazing. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. So I was
Because
talking
I
about
read the Zodiac before, and then I was just like, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of general, but this really hit home.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because horoscopes really don't mean anything. Like if they generalize about stuff like that, it doesn't really mean anything. When you get specific as to where those energies were
Yeah.
when you were born, yeah, it enlightens a whole lot of stuff. And here's an example. The theme of the hexagram that Saturn was on when I was born is hexagram 26. And the theme of that is integrity and coherence. So those 30-year cycles for me were an exploration of being in integrity, being out of integrity, and what that actually means. Kind of amazing when you get to those ages and you start looking at those things. And I was actually past 2 of them before I discovered the gene keys.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful I discovered that. It's kind of just the right time,
Yep. Well, that's the way it was for me too. It was like it showed up at the perfect time.
And it's not like I find it per se, right? But
Yep.
But I heard it a few times in the call, and I was like, "What is this? What is this? Let me check this out." And I look at the book, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like 800 and something pages."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something. So I was like, "Well, that's a good one to buy on Audible. That's make your money worth."
Yeah.
So what is that?
Here, I'm putting it in the chat for you.
Oh, okay. What do you do?
Yeah,
if
no,
you
I
don't
was
know
lost.
your
Like
time?
I was lost, Sindrell. Like the first or second, the first call, I think. Like they were talking on and on and on about it, and I was just like, "What is this?" And then Joe was like, "I'm, number 43 or something," or I'm like, "What?
Yeah,
Did I miss something?" Right?
Well, yeah, you did. Didn't
Yeah,
you?
big time.
Yeah.
But now I'm caught up a little bit.
What do you do if you don't know what time you were born?
You can go by. Do you know what time of day it was?
AM or PM? Yeah.
Like, was it after midnight? Was it early in the morning? Was it noonish?
So you get as close as you can.
Get as close as you can. Yeah. My actual birth time isn't on my birth certificate, but I used kind of used intuition and muscle testing to figure mine out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's proved to be really accurate.
Good.
Yep. This is really funny thing too. I got to share with you guys. I've been hanging out in groups that actually explore all this stuff, right? So that I learn more about it. And a few months ago, I ran across somebody who's my twin. She was born about 2.5 hours after me.
Oh wow.
And she lives in Germany. So yeah. So our charts have a lot of things that are very much alike, but because of that 2 hours difference, there's a few things that are different. So it's very interesting. We've been comparing notes on what those energies have been like for us in our lives.
It's hilarious that you said that, because like my wife, she's got a client, and then like she has a newborn too, and she was like, "Oh, when is your? I think it's it's a girl. When was she born? Like," and she said March 2nd. What time? It was like 2 hours before ours, and then like same hospital, everything. I was just like, wow.
You had Foothills?
No, we were at Rocky View.
Rocky View, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Much better, yeah. So we're just like, yeah. It's kind of funny that she told me that. She's like, yeah, my clients, got a newborn, and it's the same date, almost same time. And
Well,
I
here's
told
the
my
other
wife, I
thing.
said, like, you should have pushed harder.
You're right.
No, I didn't say that. You know.
Yeah. Anyways, if you guys ever want it, I do readings.
Oh,
Yeah, it costs me some money to run your charts though, so I'd have to charge you for them, but I can do them.
I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, because I do astrology and human design and gene keys. Do all three of them.
We'll chat.
Yeah. Well, and the reason your time of day makes a difference is because that changes your the time of your ascendant, which has a huge bearing on how you read your astrology chart. And the moon moves really, really fast in the sky, so its energy is kind of like a moving target, because that's the main thing that changes in your chart is the moon, where the moon is.
Thanks for sharing your genius, Craig.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm glad to know that.
You know what's interesting is I was the way I was raised, anything to do with astrology was like demonic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting that I found this and embraced the truth of it. It's been extremely empowering for me. Because what I really discovered, and this is the really big thing for me, what I've discovered is that I've discovered that certain energies really affect me in very deep ways. Where the moon is in the sky is a pretty big deal for me, according to my chart. And watching the energies, watching where the planets are in the sky, and comparing that to the planets that rule my chart and other things like that have really made me more aware of energy. And my body, my whole body is like an energy gauge. It's like muscle testing times 100. And that's what I mean by empowerment.
I'm quiet because I'm thinking of my daughter who says, "Mommy, what time was I born?" I was like, "I was spazzed out. I don't know." And I think it was like early evening, like about 3 or so. And I contact the hospital because they don't put the time on the birth certificates.
What?
No,
That's bizarre.
And so I wrote the hospital to get the records, and I had her write the hospital and get the records. And they said that I couldn't get the records. I said, "But it's my medical report. I gave birth." And they said they couldn't give the time. They couldn't share those records with me.
What?
I think they don't want us to know the time anymore because they don't want us to know our power.
Yeah,
Oh, that
that's
could be
one. That's one thing.
but you can, there's people that do time of birth rectification too. Like they can, the same way they can read your Akashic records, they can find out exactly what time you were born.
Yeah, so there's a place called the Casey Foundation.
Yep.
That they say they can, they have that gift exercise there.
Yep.
So when I'm a bit more situated, I certainly want to just give her that gift to go and get her readings done to find out the time and all of that.
Yep.
That's a beautiful gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have my birth time on my birth certificate either. On the hospital report, it wasn't on there.
Yeah. I wonder if it was on the discharge papers. Probably not. They just try to keep everything from it. But it's really something that they don't put it on birth certificates anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Kai's got it on his birth certificate. Like it was just like in his bassinet.
Yeah.
Like it had the little tag there and with the time and.
No, they have them on Alberta birth certificates. They have the time.
Yeah, I'll have to check.
Yeah, all my 3 kids were born there, and they all have it on them.
Yeah, but maybe now they don't. That's the thing. I'm not sure. I'll have to check.
Yeah.
But I took a picture of it, so I know.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
So the thing is, even if you know the date, you can. What I usually do if they don't know the time is I'll just find out if you got the place. I just run a chart at noon on that day in that time zone, and then it's pretty close. Like about 90% of it would be accurate. The 10% that's not, if you don't have the time of day.
Do you need how do you do that? Do you need her to talk to you or?
No. All I need is a birth date and birthplace.
Mm-hmm. I got the place. I know where I was.
Even though you were totally out of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're going through labor pain. It seemed like 1 minute feels like 4 hours.
Yeah. Well, my youngest daughter was actually born on my wife's birthday. And I was teaching college at the time, and I had taken a day off to take my wife out for lunch, and instead we ended up in a hospital. So my daughter was born like at 12:30, something like that, on her mom's birthday. So their charts are pretty similar, actually.
I could imagine. How was it like growing up in a twin household?
Yeah, it was kind of weird because you got kind of double these same energies that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really weird. And my son was born only 4 days after that, so his is pretty close to the same thing. But their charts are remarkably different. In fact, I wish I would have known all this stuff when I was raising my kids. I I would have raised them very differently.
Yeah, but maybe they wouldn't learn the lesson that they were supposed to learn. No.
They're going to anyways. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, that's interesting that you're bringing that up, because I'm going to publish an ebook, and it's about Mother Nature's way of changing the human being population to prepare it for the new Earth that's coming.
What's going to be the title?
The Rise of the Quantistics.
Wow. Quantistic?
Yep, quantistics. It's a new term
Yeah.
that I'm
Never heard of
coining.
it.
Yep. But it's
What does it mean?
basically the quantum human. The quantum human. Let's put it this way. People that are born this year are a lot more quantum than people born 10 years ago.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Yep. And it's been going on for a long time. And I identify myself as one of those, even though I was born more than 60 years ago. But I'm a transitional one from pre-quantum energy to quantum energy. Because it's something that even though you're born that way, it's something you kind of have to learn, because the old energy of the planet is still 50 years behind everything.
Yeah. It's
And
starting
that's the
to climb
challenge.
up.
Yep, starting to climb up, but that's the challenge, is bringing the energy of the collective up to speed with the human beings that are already prepared to live in the newer energy. In fact, that's kind of my Earth mission.
Kind of your Earth mission or your Earth mission?
Well, it's pretty much my Earth mission, is to bring is to keep the quantistics encouraged and bring the rest of bring the rest of the collective up to speed with that.
Yeah.
So that's basically what the book is about.
You're like John the Baptist.
Sort of, yeah. Yep. Voice crying in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Prepare ye the way.
Prepare you the way.
Because I know you'll relate to this language, Cinderella. The second coming of Christ is already well underway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you were saying that, I saw the orchestration and full administration in higher realms, like in preparation mode. And you know how a team looks down at a map for strategies and functions and operations. It's like that's happening in the heavens. The plan is already set, but the orchestration of it is in preparation.
Right.
So it's already happening there, and that energy is already permeating through this stratosphere for us who are open to it. First, willing vessels, who are open to it, to receive it and learn how to function in that energy with the higher realm. So
Yes.
we're cooperatives of the higher realm to help prepare and attract those that have the already, everybody has the potential, but those willing to acknowledge their own potential. That's why I asked you, is that
Yep.
kind of your mission or is it your mission?
Yeah, it's pretty much my mission.
Yeah, you still got to take out the pretty much,
Okay,
okay?
I hear you.
All right. I mean, to execute, it requires precision, but I know you're just being nice so that people can kind of receive you
Well,
as
I'm trying to be gentle with it.
Yeah.
Because I already know I'm one of the few people on the planet that has any inkling of this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm well open to so many realms. I'm a person who met a person that was a walk-in when I was like about 20 years old.
Who was a what?
A walk-in.
You were walking?
No, I met a walk-in.
Oh, you met someone.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know someone too like that.
Yeah, and it was totally like normal to me.
Yeah.
It was like more normal to me than normal. It's
Okay,
like,
can you explain to us what you mean by a walk-in?
So first I gotta paint the picture. So I was at this a vocational center, and I was just there as a blip of in between things. And I was in Baltimore, a place, was it Baltimore? Well, yeah, I'm gonna say it was Baltimore. I was in Baltimore, and I'm sitting at this computer, and it's like people from all walks of life are in there. And I ended up being in there like late, and I felt this energy off this person to the right of me. And I was like, wow, he's kind of strange. But yet I was like, he's more like unique than strange. When something's unique is more of like, oh, you're unique, like an appreciation. And then we ended up, there was a seat between us, and we ended up conversing. And then, and now that I like look back on it, like this could have probably never really even happened in real life, but it happened, right?
Yep.
And for some reasons, like he felt comfortable to open up to me. And the short of the long story is that he had left Earth, and he came back and took over a body that was in a car accident.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that other soul went on, but he came and took possession of this body. And he came out of a coma. He's the one that came out of the coma as himself, but in this body.
Oh, okay.
And
Interesting.
He started working on the body and healing, teaching and telling the body how to be healed. And so I was like, well, this guy was married. How did the wife receive you? He said,
Yeah.
the thing about it, that the wife knew and was very aligned with what had happened, that he woke up a new creature.
Oh, wow.
And she was opened up like she was like made to be the one to be in cooperation with the work that he had to do here on earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he told me about different things he did to heal the body. I said, why couldn't you just like heal it? He said, this body had a lot of trauma in it.
Yes.
And you don't want to just make it whole. You want it to heal whole.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
showed me like scars and told me about, you know, bone breakages and all of that he functioned with, like almost like telepathically to heal it. And then I ended up meeting them, like they could have like cut my head off or anything. I mean, I went to this house and I sat with him and his wife and we talked, and then I laid down on this mat and they did this I guess it's like Reiki. And it's like all these little, you know, like Gulliver's Travel, how all the little people are like trying to nail him down and tie him down. But instead of that, they were like little worker bees, like in my body, like fixing things and healing things. And I could feel the movements of stuff happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what he came to this earth to bring healing work, to awaken healing works. So he knew he was bestowed to come to the earth for that. And I had that one experience, and then like my life took a left, right turn somewhere. And then like months later, I went to go back to the house and it wasn't there.
Oh, wow.
So did it happen? Yes.
Yes.
Can I prove it? No.
No.
Is
The
it
thing is,
true?
you can't
Yes.
prove any of this stuff that's really real. You can't prove it
Yeah.
because it's intangible. All this stuff is intangible. So here's what's fascinating me in your story here is because basically I see it as, so he was in a coma, which is basically a near-death experience. And I've studied a lot of near-death experiences, but I never ran across the walk-in, which is basically a soul exchange.
Yeah.
It's like one soul leaves and another one enters.
Yeah.
Which is very, very interesting phenomena. But yeah, I can see the benefit of that, and the yeah. Because I'm only now starting to tap into everything that I took on when I was on the other side of the veil, my own death experience. And all of that is coming to light now in my awareness. And as you get more and more aware, you realize that you actually have control over that you're actually capable of making choices around, like very conscious choices around your other side of the veil truth. And I barely even scratched the surface so far.
I'm missing this. There's something in what you said there I didn't get. Well, you said a lot in a sentence.
Yeah.
You have choices on the other side of the veil. I thought, you know how your mind races ahead. I thought you were going to talk about, because I was thinking of my mom, that she made a choice to leave.
Yeah.
When she left.
Well, I did too. In fact, I realized when I was that young that this life I had chosen to live was quite extreme, and that that death experience was actually an attempt to abdicate, to try not to live this life.
But God said, no, you made that bed, go fix it.
well, yeah, that's what I initially thought. That's interesting you should say that, because I was always, like, I basically grew up being pissed off at God for sending me back. But the truth is, that whole thing was all very intentional, because one thing is, when I was on the other side of the veil, I picked up a lot of, let's call them, tools to use to bring back with me.
Right.
After, I'd been around for a couple of years. I'd been alive for a couple of years, and already saw the lay of the land. So it's kind of like I went back to the gas station to get my tank filled up. I see it as that kind of an experience. And even though I didn't know that that's what I was doing until 60 years later, now I realize that I picked up all that stuff, and it's not in my awareness as of yet, but it's definitely in my toolbox.
Yeah, so just the experience, I think, makes you know.
Oh yeah.
That there are tools, right?
Yep. The experience and the after effects and everything were amazing, because it was that one thing was, part of me became an adult in an instant. Like, even though I was 2 years old, I was an adult in an instant. Part of me anyway. And so there's part of my childhood was kind of lost or postponed. Let's put it that way. And and that's very intentional too. And the other thing is, a spiritual awareness. My spiritual awareness at that point went right through the roof. So yeah, which is all part of developing a person that needs to be at a certain place when they're in their 60s, right? So I don't know that there's any other way to create that kind of a person. And that also has to do with being quantistic too. Like, I think that made me, neurodiverse as well. It had a lot to do with that happening.
Quantistic.
So anyway, yeah.
Quantistic.
What's quantistic?
I said I am quantistic.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of forms of that in society already. It shows up as attention deficit. Okay, and psychology and psychiatry calls it a disorder.
Wait
but
a
it's
minute.
not.
It shows up as what? I couldn't hear the word.
It shows up as a disorder according to psychology. They label that stuff as a disorder, but actually these people are primarily conceptual thinkers. They're not linear thinkers. So they have, in fact, they don't operate linearly. Some of them don't operate even verbally. They're always in the random abstract. That's where they operate. But because there's so few of them, medicine and psychology views them as an anomaly, or as something unusual, or a disorder, or a dysfunction. And it's actually not a dysfunction at all. It's actually the way human beings were actually designed to operate in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the unique. And it's understanding your own connection with creation and the ultra universe. There used to be this young lady who would like freak out, like we'd be in church, and then it's like she would just go into these like almost like hyperventilating and convulsions, like what appeared to be like out of nowhere.
Yep.
And everybody was like, "Oh my goodness, calm her down." Blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And in my spirit, like this happened, like I didn't even know what, because they took her out so quickly, right?
Yep.
So about the third time this happened, after they took her to the hospital and all of this other kind of stuff, I got with her. I said, "Look, I'm gonna tell you something nobody else is gonna tell you. And if you tell anybody else, they're gonna think I'm crazy or you're crazy, and you might even think you're crazy. But when I really tell you, you're gonna know that you're not crazy. Are you ready for this?"
Yep.
And she was like, "What?" Like they call me Aunt Cindy. She said, "What?" I said, "You're ascending. Your energies are awakening."
Yeah.
And you have been avoiding the awakening because you have been working in a routine that has been taking all of your focus. But there's something so magnanimously powerful happening in the spirit of you.
Yes.
And that spirit dwells in you.
Yep.
Now, just because you haven't been paying attention to it, that doesn't mean it hasn't been happening. So consider being at peace with your inner self, no matter what you're feeling. Because you need to allow yourself to become acquainted with this energy. It's like magic that only you have. But now you must learn to cultivate it. Be familiar with it first, that it is. And then you learn to cultivate it and you learn to channel it.
Yep.
Jesus came and said, "Greater things shall ye do." How are you going to do that if you don't know yourself and the magic that is in you?
Yep.
So next time you get ready to go into a fit, go in, don't run from it and let it all come out. If it has to, it'll blunder out until you'll get more used to it. But when you feel it rising, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it, breathe it, you talk to it, channel with it. That's your power. And you're becoming a woman. It's waking all of that up. And it's waking your third eye up. So just embrace the magnificentness that of becoming and knowing who you are. She never had another fit.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
She never had another fit.
Now here's the other thing around that too, is that these people have difficulty adjusting to a linear binary world.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So
and linear binary energy, because they're not, it's totally foreign to them.
It's limited. It doesn't accommodate them.
Right. It can't. It's not big enough.
No. But everything that they see being linear and being nurtured by linear parenting, it's.
Yes.
So what parents don't understand, they take to the doctor.
Yeah, they counteract it. And thing is, there isn't anybody in the medical profession that understands this. I know
Yeah,
that
now,
because
I'm,
there's few
I'm
people on
gonna
the
say,
planet that understand this.
yeah, I'm gonna say they may be aware of it and some may understand it because we have these people now infiltrating all aspects of earthly existence in order
Yes.
to bring forth the evolution of it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but they know it, but they can't practice it, and then they stand back and let it be, and are protectors of it, so it doesn't get interfered with. You know what I'm saying? Like you got
Yes,
nurses
yes.
that are walking for the purpose.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, medically, textbook, all of that stuff. There, you know, as we come into new, I'll say, protocols, doctors and the inquisitive ones are not leaning to the textbook. They'll take what they've learned from the textbook, but they're more open to the infinite harmonies of the direction that comes from above instead of and from within versus what comes from what's already understood, because what's already understood is limiting, is limited, because we're you know we're you know, that's elementary.
Yeah.
So all right, so you sure you weak, Craig, today? You like John the Baptist?
Make his path straight.
Well, yeah, but
Prepare ye
everybody's
the
path
way.
is different. There's a prepare ye the way of
Yeah,
the
but it's his
Lord,
paths,
and
not
make
yours.
his pathway straight. The bass goes, prepare ye the way of the Lord, and the kingdom shall be brought unto earth.
Yeah. Allow yourself access to the Spirit of Christ is basically what I hear in that. Instead of being resistant to it, damn it.
Receive it, receive it.
Yeah. 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 Christianity today isn't there.
You know, well, Christ didn't call himself Christian.
Well, no, that's true.
That's the limiting nature of man, to put understanding in order to communicate with others their experience of him.
Yeah. 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 I'm pretty sure he would have been rebuking the church big time. Like he did about Judaism when he was here. Because there's actually not much difference.
No. No. And those who call for, you know, accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, like, you know, when I go to Rome, I'll speak their language, but I'm like,
Yeah, there's a little more to it than that. I'm afraid. Just a little.
So what you're actually saying is that was the little.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and here's a really big message too, is that whole energy is actually trying to escape the planet.
What energy? Escape. Explain.
The energy of Christianity today is about escaping the planet. It's about it's about living your life in a way that you end up spending eternity in heaven somewhere else. Somewhere else than here, because earth is hell.
Heaven and hell, I believe, is in you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I do too.
What's that saying? No matter where you are,
Yeah,
there you
and
are.
they aren't places.
Mm-hmm.
They're states of mind. So for me, it's about establishing heaven here,
Mm-hmm.
and that starts inside my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and it radiates from there.
Mm-hmm. And living from the heart and
Yep.
allowing the super consciousness to honor it.
Yeah, allowing your soul, allowing the eternal part of you, the immortal part of you,
Mm-hmm.
to actually guide your life and your decisions, your choices.
Mm-hmm. Abdicate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting that like more and more, and I know I've only just like got a pericope of the taste of that in me, functioning in that, because I frequently have to like go into that. What do you call it? Quantum. What are you calling it?
Quantistic.
Yeah, I find myself in the spheres of the quantumnicity of existence, of being.
Yes.
And then I find myself in what we call this world reality that is like having me, I still find myself, wobbling in that sometime, but not nearly as much as I used to. But I still welcome the wobbles because it lets me know places for growth and explore, exercising authority over that which wobbles me.
Yeah. Here's what flabbergasts me the most, though, is that I was talking about Saturn returns earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and part of the reason for that, and part of the reason I'm grateful for exploring my own birth charts and my own astrology, is that what I realize is that throughout my life, my soul, my super consciousness was actually controlling my life. I was totally unconscious of it, totally unaware of it, but it's been not manipulated, but it was nudged and guided in very gentle ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like somehow, and here's how it worked for me. Somehow when I was 2 years old, I saw an opportunity to escape this life and actually die and actually leave it.
Mm-hmm.
And some part of me chose that,
Mm-hmm.
made that choice. And it was unconscious at the time, but it was necessary. It was part of my intentional experience path.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that really blows me away, because what's happening now, here I am decades later, and I'm becoming aware of all this, and I'm becoming aware of how this all worked in my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
And holy crap, is that empowering.
Yeah.
So now I make conscious decisions to to align with that and participate in it as fully as I can,
Mhm.
because that's where I'm going. You know what I mean? And I don't really know where that is even. But I can trust that power that has been guiding me over these last decades to take me into the future,
Yeah,
into the future that's meant for me.
yeah. Living your purpose is more than obtaining a goal.
Yeah. You know, it's more like living your meaning,
Mm.
living the meaning that you wanted to live before you ever came here.
Jesse, I'm feeling you. Jesse,
Nice and Drell, I'm here.
I know. I know.
I'm really blessed today by all of you that are here, and really blessed to be exploring all this on a different level. This has gone today. We've gone much deeper than I've ever gone. So
Yeah, I love the quantum. Help me say it.
quantistic,
Quantistic.
quantistics.
I'm trying quantistics. I'm trying to use it in different forms, and when it goes to come out my mouth, it's like, okay, help me.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing I just got too, is every soul on the other side of the veil is like that, is quantistic. Every soul is like that. It's
So
it's our true nature. Our true nature is quantistic.
is that why I feel my mother even more now than I did when she was alive?
Yep. Oh, totally. Hey, my dad passed away so that he could help me.
Right.
Because when he was this is 38 years ago, my dad had his heart stopped, and nobody knew why, but we think it was that he had a blood clot in his leg that moved its way up to his heart, and so there was a blockage or something like that. But they jabbed him with adrenaline 4 or 5 times, both at home and in the hospital or in the ambulance when they were taking him there. And I know that his whole life was flashed before his eyes, but my life was flashed before his eyes too. And he was given a choice about whether he wanted to stay or go.
Mm-hmm.
And he was given the choice, because if you go, then you can do this and this and this. And if you stay, you can't. Like, it's because you'll be in body and you can't do. And so I know that he actually chose to go and be like a spirit guide to me.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting about all this is that same thing has been confirmed a number of times in a number of different ways to me. That's the truth of that situation, is that he was given a choice.
So he yet lives his purpose out in being a council member.
Yeah.
For your
Well, and
life.
here's an interesting thing too, is that he didn't realize this at the time either, but he was a key catalyst in preparing me for my life, for this life that I was to live. Like, we used to pull wrenches. We rebuilt a car and a half when I was in my teens. We renovated our house, did all that kind of stuff. he did a lot of that kind of stuff with me. But here's another thing too. I ran his charts, and what's really amazing about that is he's the same energy type as I am. He was very sure of himself. His inner authority was an example to me, and I don't have the same primary inner authority, but I have an inner authority that's very much like his was. And so, and his things like his deeper attitudes and that kind of stuff are things that were passed down to me that I actually saw modeled. And his darker sides were things that I saw modeled and actually picked up from him too. Things that I actually had to work through, and I guess you could call them dark energy. Like he didn't like spending an awful lot of time at home, because home wasn't a safe place for him. And interestingly enough, home wasn't a safe place for me either. In fact, I've never had a physical home that was safe for me. Even today, I still haven't found a home that was safe. And so that's one of the things that I kind of picked up from him.
So, my compassion goes out like tremendously that you say you don't have a safe home. And then my spirit is like, but what are you calling your home?
Well, that's the other thing too. That's very common with quantistics.
But when you accept and are comfortable with your quantinality, or as you become, when you know yourself and you know that's what you are, then what is home? It's not home like that preconceived notion of anything that ever was impressed upon you before. That's not home for you.
It's a combination of a few things. One thing is homesick for heaven. Because heaven is home. That's part of the reason why I made a choice to try to escape. Is because I missed heaven. It was home for me.
I'm sorry. I'm saying I'm calling you. I'm calling bullshit.
Okay.
I'm calling bullshit. You are heaven.
Yeah, I know. I know. You didn't let me finish the concept.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Homesick for heaven. But what I've discovered is that heaven is inside my own heart. Period.
Amen.
That's where home is. That's where home is. So the thing is, I found out that home is not where you live.
Right.
Home is a state of mind inside.
Okay.
Okay. And I brought up a term about a week ago, homeostasis. A place of balance and harmony, inner balance and harmony. Homeostasis. That's why they call it homeostasis, because it's kind of like a home frequency. Okay. So all of that whole idea of home is kind of spread around all of those concepts that I just mentioned. And there's actually more of them too, but I'm trying to be simple here.
Okay. So I apologize.
And so, no, don't apologize because I
But-
appreciate being called BS.
Yeah, but the way you came to being explaining it is, it was as if you were owning it as I've never had a home.
Yeah.
That is the phraseology that came from you, as if you not having a
Yeah.
home was your
What
living expression
Yeah.
now.
What I said is I've never had a home where I felt safe.
Mhm. Do you have a home now where you feel safe?
Nope.
I'm going back to bullshit. Sorry.
I don't feel safe.
You are.
I didn't say
you-
I'm not safe. I said I don't feel safe.
That's your reality, is what you're feeling, what you've created.
No, it's my feeling that I'm feeling. It's not my reality.
So why? Well, to me, my feelings are my reality, and I examine my reality to what I desire it to be, and turn the channel, because if it's not what I want, then it doesn't have to be the truth. And so it's not. So what, for you to have a home, what would that be? For you to feel safe?
I don't know the answer to that question,
All right, well, that's your homework for the week.
which is why I said what I said. Yeah, exactly.
I know for myself, when I feel like I'm longing for something, that I actually, if I allow myself to take responsibility for that which I long for, and allow myself to contemplate the why of the longing, which is a whole thing in and itself, like, really
Yeah, but
contemplating it.
this isn't a longing that I'm talking about. This is, in fact, it's not even about home. It's about this sense deep inside me that I don't really want to be here.
Are you torn between two existences or 5 existences?
Well, why do you think I died?
Because you had to go back and get some too.
Because I didn't want to be here.
But here and there, it doesn't matter. You're
Well,
still
I know,
where
but
you are.
I know, but my being doesn't comprehend this yet.
Well, you just sit that being down and you just tell it what's up.
It's not quite
Damn
that
it, you're
simple.
here and you're there and you're everywhere, and where you are is where you are, and just enjoy the work, enjoy the purpose, and laugh at this shit. It's good.
Well, let's put it this way. Every day that goes by, I enjoy being here more than I did the day before. Okay. So I'm working on it. Damn it.
Okay. So let's look forward to tomorrow and every day thereafter.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that this is an issue that's not settled in me yet.
Well, damn it, we're gonna get this shit settled, or we're gonna take the garbage out. Sometimes you just need to take the garbage out. Why you want to keep going around this mountain? Because you've been going around this mountain longer than I even have. Just throw the trash out. The universe knows how to process it. I think you're holding on to something that is really distracting you from the phenomenality of who and what you are, because
Well, of
you
course.
don't know
That's
all of
exactly
that.
what I'm trying to say.
Because you need to take authority and throw the trash out. That's the crying baby. It's like, look, you can go back to beginning of creation or wherever. You go be recycled. I got some work to do. I got some fun work to do. I got some limited work to do. I'm exhilarated. You want to be a thorn in my side? You can take the ride with me, but you can't keep stopping me and keep me going around in a circle. Now you got to get with the program or you got to get out of here. We ain't got time for this BS. Because I hear this resonating in you a lot. The crying baby in the background, trying to make more noise in the background than what your power is called to be in the foreground. And it's really slowing you up. And I say that with love.
I know you do. Oh, dear. I'm so glad I shared this morning.
Yeah, it's easy. Throw that trash out.
Wow, that's a really, really good contemplation for a solstice day. Wow.
It's your red coat. It don't fit no more. You look stupid in it. It doesn't match your intelligence. You look like a clown. It's contrary to your character. It don't fit with your purpose. It's stupid. It's so elementary, and you're carrying it around like a charm.
Yeah, I heard yesterday that 18% of soul are incarnated. 82% are assisting the incarnate soul. So do you feel lucky to be here? I feel privileged.
Oh, yeah.
To do this type of work. You know, I want to be here. I'm needed to raise this frequency. I don't want to be like the spectator. I want to be on the field and play. That's what I want to do.
Woohoo! Gladiators of freedom. Dean Graciosi says, yeah. Oh, yeah. Y'all got me fired up. All right.
Yeah, and the other thing that comes to mind is, I don't know if it happens to you guys, but when I was young, like my dad was like, pick up the grocery, pick up one more. And then like, you're carrying this grocery around and then you're like, man, Dad, it's so heavy. And I would just say, put it down. so much easier to put it down. So you're limitless or limited person or whatever. Just put this down. Just like you said, like Sindrell, stop carrying garbage.
It becomes like an appendage. It becomes like who we are. I mean, there's things that I'm having to let go of. And, you know, it's like, well, I've been on this journey so long. I've been on this path so long. And the past like 3 or 4 days, my higher guidance is whispering to me, but if you let it go and could do anything and have anything you want, let's get back to that answer. Is it the same? Or is it the same, but it really looks different? Is it the same? Does it look different? Is the creation that which is what is in you? Is that only a hint of your evolution? Or you just gonna ride that train because that's the one you identified that looked and felt like your path? No. Would you? But you're on that path. Is this? You know, maybe you were supposed to just go to one depot to feel what that path was like, to incite and to enliven and to invigorate that which is more within you than that which is without of you. You got a right to get off the train anywhere, anytime. So when you got all of the juice out of that lemon, and if you don't need the pill for the peelings and the skin for your purpose, it is okay to let it go and let it regenerate, because it will serve its purpose in another way. Because if you just hang on to it, you are hogging up the progress of something and somebody else, and mainly yourself. And you can't live the light and the purpose that you are when you're not being that which you are called to be. And you are being selfish and faithless to hold on to a red coat that is no longer supporting the journey and the growth of you. Your father, Greg, he let go of his life. He let go of his earthly life in order for the regeneration of you to go even further. Greater work shall thou do. It's okay to let stuff go. Because you know what? If you get 10 miles or 10 years or 30 years down the line, whatever you need then, it's going to be there for you too.
Oh, wow. Oh, what a perfect message for solstice. Endings and beginnings are the same, one and the same. What a perfect exploration for me today. Thank you all.
Yeah, I would say real or imagined, good, bad, life or death, or just concepts. They're just perception.
Yeah, and interpretations.
Wow.
And they're all necessary.
Yes.
You know, on your journey, like you'll have like 50% of people will say, oh, what you said, Craig, was just awesome. And the other 50% of people will say, you don't make sense at all. Right? So it has to keep a balance. That's why good and bad exists. That we say good and bad, life, death, everything. It has to keep an equilibrium. Otherwise, we tip the balance too much on one side, and it won't work. And you probably see it in your life too. Like you know, you talk to people. Like, for example, okay. So I'm bugging like a friend of mine. Like, I'm just putting my stuff back in the office, and then I was like, "Well, what you got in this bag for me?" And she was like, "I got debt." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And she tells me that like it's like everything goes wrong in her life, right? Like her dogs are sick, and then like disease and this and that, and then so anyway, so I says like, well, there's this guy that I know that he does Reiki on dogs and stuff. So, and then one guy walked in and he says, haha, Reiki, energy work, that doesn't work, right? And she's like, shut up, right? So, and then like usually my old me would have been like defending myself, and I'm like, there's no point. There's no point. These people don't get it. They don't get it yet. They're not there. It's okay. It's totally okay. And to be okay with like, the both opposite, it's fine, just keep following your path, right? And like I said, like, I'm not going to fragment myself anymore. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I cannot talk about this person. If they don't, okay, then, that's it. Like, I'm not going to try to convince people, right? But I'm going to be myself, my true self. And that's a choice.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like, and I could see you stand in your own, and it's not even having to personify power, but peace with who you are, like in those moments, and being just authentic to yourself, not to anybody else, and being so okay with that. It's okay that they don't get you. It's okay. That just really helps you know even more who you are. without having to feel like you have to prove it anymore. So I have a challenge. If you can do it for 7 days or even just one day today, find something in your environment that you can just throw out. Just get rid of something in your physical field that you can just release and let go. Big or small, doesn't matter. Got something in the back of your closet or somewhere, old clothes, old shoes, maybe even some books. You could give to the library or something. Let go of something in honor of making room for your growth. Maybe clean out a pantry.
Right. I was going to talk about this, like, about emotion. Like before I thought like, oh, I don't want to feel this, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this. But now I understand that like I have to fully feel it and understand that it is not me. It's just something that was trapped inside of me. It's kind of a discharge. But let it come up. And like as much as it's like it feels uncomfortable, let it come up. But understand and don't attach to it. Don't make a story about it or argue, like say, oh yeah, but like I was the good guy in this situation. Oh, I was this or I was that, blah, 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 blah. Just let it come up. But understand it is not you.
Thank you. That was affirming.
Oh, what does it mean for you guys to live in your heart?
That's a loaded question. So we say, listen to your heart. I think you can get any more truer to yourself than to live in your heart. Oh, we lost them.
Talking though.
Mm. I hope he knows he's disconnected. Here he comes.
That's big three, and they'll go win by 30.
There he is. Hi, Pascal.
Hi there. I got disconnected for some reason. I don't know why. You guys hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you guys hear my question?
Yes. And been
Oh.
contemplating it.
Oh, okay, okay. Right on. It's a deep one.
Yeah. So I've been toying around with some date sites, right? And so you get to have these various conversations with people, which is quite an adventure all by itself.
Sure.
Yeah, woo, 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 woo. And so this one guy said, so he said, you talk differently. I said, well, we all talk different one from another. He said, no, that you talk differently. I was like, okay, how, what is that like for you? It's like you don't just mean what you say, but I feel what you say. I said, okay, good. I said, like the 70s. Oh, you feel me, huh? You feel what I'm putting down, my vibe, And he said, yeah. I was like, okay. I said, well, it's a good thing for me because sometimes words do not convey. They just don't convey what needs to be communicated. He said, you take a long time to answer too. I said, well, I noticed that you're patient until I have an answer. He said, yeah, because I want to hear what you're going to say. I said, I speak from my heart and I have to listen to my heart in order to speak from my heart. And I'm also listening to you. So when you ask the question, Pascal, what does it mean to live? Not from your heart, but in your heart. That's taken me to a whole different perspective.
Me too.
And I think I like it.
And when I asked the question, I wasn't thinking. It just came to me. If that makes sense.
Kane, you spoke to say the word, Craig.
Quantistic.
Yeah. You spoke to
quantify the conversation to another dimension. Ah, one little word, in your heart. In your heart. Live in your heart. I feel that's where our greatest authenticity resonates.
Yeah, like fully occupy, fully embody in your heart.
So, like living, I'm going to mute you, Pascal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I just got noisy there. It's like
Someone speaking, Jesse?
Yeah, hi, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. It's like what was there was like to live through the heart. And I just, for me, it gives a presence, like in the present. And that would mean, oh, well, there's different parts that I could be living in. So how to be aware of the different parts? How do I live through my heart, through the eyes, through the feel, through the sense of my heart? And so to know like there's other senses that I'm very accustomed to, very comfortable with, and how those work. So to live through my heart says I live without judgment. I live without expectations. And I live without the past. So it's living in the as it is now. Through the heart is the difference between, oh, little t truth and big T truth. And what I can say is that the energy of love, joy, peace, passion, versions of enjoyment, in joy, of joy, through joy, with joy, is the sound, the song of our hearts. No, that's what I will wrap into living through my heart. Thanks for the question, Pascal.
When as you were speaking, Jesse, and as the question is being pondered, I see a picture, and I've been looking for an abstraction of art that I could do in black and white for my son, and I got the vision of it, and it is an abstraction of the heart and my son sitting and resting down in the heart in a like a meditative prayer pose, but to sit, just sitting, allow yourself to be in the presence of the epitome and quintessential essence of creation, of beingness. Or it's trying to make to live in your heart, in it. It is to know the regenerating source of life, of living, of expression. So anything that comes through the heart or out, it comes from true source. There's a saying that we are each individualized expressions of the infinite creator. And to sit in the heart is to get what that true nature and purpose of your own unique expression is, and live it without any thought of being apologetic or explaining its being. It's accepting it too. It's taking oneness with self and taking and taking honorable responsibility for carrying out that expression that only you can uniquely and divinely gift through you, as others are also gifted to gift through them, should they take the time to know the heart.
Yeah, my response would be, or my answer of living in our heart would be very similar to Jesse. To be present of all time. No past, no future, no judgment. Really see the reality or the life just as it is, you know. And a good analogy that I heard is like our head is just a periscope, and the captain is way down the hull of ship. And Yeah, so nothing affect the captain, and he's just looking. And I use this through the day because they're really helpful. Because as soon as like I have a thought, I'm like, no, I'm just a periscope. I'm just a periscope. And I shared that like a couple days ago, that I was seeing like light. Everybody that was, you know, because I drive a lot, right? So in every cars, I see just light of people. It didn't matter if they cut someone or whatever. I just see a light, and like how much it expand my heart. So that's really my answer of living in my heart. No judgment of anything. Just understand it's just different color of the spectrum. Everybody has a different color. But it makes such a beautiful picture when you put all these colors together. I'm curious what Craig has to say too.
Wow, you guys pretty much covered it pretty well there. That whole thing about being present.
Or then explain what present means to you. What being present means to you.
Present to me means being in the juxtaposition point between soul and body, between earth and the other side. It's a point where you have access to all things. To all power, to all love, to all truth.
Infinite possibility.
Yeah, all potential.
point of focus. In an environment where distractions are many.
Yeah, you bet there's a lot of distraction. And I would say my biggest distraction is beautiful woman. It's hard to keep myself present with that.
So if beautiful women are part of your, and that the part of your garden, you don't have to pick them all, you know? You don't have to pick the flowers. You can appreciate the flowers in your presence in the moment that you're in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, it's a practice, and I'm much better at it because I live in Vancouver, and yeah, I walk with my wife, and then I don't know. I don't think it was my it was me that was doing it. Like my head was just keep turning left, right, and I told her that I was just stretching my neck. She didn't buy it though. But I'm much better at looking at, you know, beautiful woman, but not putting a label.
And yeah, and she's gonna slap your neck. But beauty's like all around you.
So what would you say? Beauty is?
You know, there's so much beauty. You can attract beauty. You know, you are, and you are. Beauty's like all of you. You attract beauty. Are beauty.
Is it just me or you're breaking up
So
a
when
lot?
beauty is like thing that you should have. Neck you are beauty and you are with beauty and you honor the all the beauty around you. Am I breaking up?
Yeah.
We can hardly
Yeah.
hear you.
It breaks up and then all of a sudden, like, you speak very fast.
I'm in the park. Let me go to another corner. I think. Yeah,
But I got like that I'm beauty and there's beauty all around me.
I only have one bar.
Mm.
Can you hear me now? Is this
I do, yeah.
better?
Oh, you're breaking up again.
Yeah. So I can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Now.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay, I usually have more power here.
Perfect.
I was saying.
Oh, breaking up again.
So I'm imagining you walk. I lost you again.
Mm.
Oh, going. I tried to pull over. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try here. How is this?
It's better, yeah.
Okay. So I'm imagining you walking with your wife, and you're maybe in downtown or metropolitan area, and there's like all these, people going about their business, and there's just beautiful people like all around you, right? And some just highlight and are even that much more stunning. But as the beauty is coming at you, it's like, it's beautiful that you even recognize beauty for beauty. So you can graciously let it be. It's like, but it's all around you. It's behind you. It's people that have passed you already, people who have not come into your view yet. But you are beauty, and you attract it. Your energy will attract it. Your energy will emulate people's beauty that they may not have felt within themselves before, just because you recognize. And so you're walking with beauty. You're with your wife, that's beauty. And so as you are being that in your heart, and as you're just appreciating like all of the flowers that is just like in this oasis of a garden. And so you don't have to like pick them, you don't have to, you can just appreciate them for the canvas that has been presented for you. but yet you have been given beauty that you get to exchange the love of beauty and the care and compassion with the one that you are with. So you get to, you really, and you chose her, right? And because you're with her and she's with you, you both generate an energy that just brings out more beauty in the world. So you're gonna recognize beauty like all around, but you don't have to like crave what you see, because it's part of your environmental presence. You can just appreciate it, that it moves and it walks and it floats by you and it's around you. But you get a chance to express all of that with the one that you're with.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The picture I got is like at a wedding. It's like people are all around us, right? We're just like walking the aisle and they're just throwing flowers at us, right? You know, and I don't have to pick up the flowers. It's not my job, right? It's just, my job is just to walk down the aisle with the love of my life.
Yeah. And
So
she feels more beautiful. Her inner beauty just emanates more beautifully and unfolds more beautifully for you. That with all the flowers that you beehive with her, and it will give you will regenerate more unexplicable love that will bring you more beauty when you don't run around like a hounding, your eyes don't run around like a hounding dog just trying to grab up all the flowers. Because when you grab up all the flowers, you're plucking them and you're picking them up out of root, and you're collecting, and it takes away the value of the garden that you have right there already, and it crowds it with other people's energies. It's all right for all the flowers to be beautiful, but you don't want to like take a petal off of this and a petal off of that, and because that's nothing. All of that is a mirage, and it's fleeting. But with her, you get a chance to turn her soil and keep the weeds away and appreciate. And she will bloom for you over and over and over again. But damn it, if you put your essence out, your eyes, your lusting eyes, your wanting eyes, it's like you don't know what you got. All that you looking at is fleeting. But what you have is worthy of caring for. And again, it will renew for you like you never could imagine. But if you don't take care of your garden, it will dry out, dry rot, go into the ground and root up somewhere else. And then you go look around. All that beauty that you was looking at, it won't even look so beautiful anymore. Because it's because of her and you together, you energize beauty and love. And that's why you see so much abundance of it around you.
Oh, that's beautiful. You must like flowers, Sindrell.
Yeah, it's the garden. I come to the garden. My son brings me flowers like all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And you grow flowers too?
No, I don't.
No?
No, I do not. No. Mm-mm. It's just it's a metaphor for life. Nature's a metaphor for life.
No, but you still love them. And we usually use metaphor that way we love,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
If I love cars or I love farming, that's what I'm going to be using for metaphor or analogy, right?
Yeah. Your language. But can you imagine walking with your wife and being content that beauty is beauty and you have beauty right there with you and you don't have to like have wandering eyes like a sniffing nose hounding about what is that, what is that, what is that?
Yeah, for sure. I feel that. I definitely feel that.
And it hurt. It does something to a woman's heart that she's not the apple of your eye. And even though you may not say lust, you're not lusting after other women, but it is.
They feel it, you know. They feel it.
Yeah, yeah. And honey, those women, those other women, they are just practicing their proudness for attracting and manipulating the wiles of men.
Yeah, and they know how to do that.
They know what they're doing. Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, you wouldn't wear something like that if you wouldn't want to be looked at, right?
Well, not sometimes, you know, like men don't have to wear shirts. Sometimes women just don't want to wear all of that confinement either. But
yeah,
women, a woman can have like on a very low cut blouse and midriff showing and some shorts, and she, because of her character and the way she carries herself and where her mind is, she would not try to allure you. She's just being. But another woman who could have on, you know, full length jeans, just a regular blouse, not even just really showing, just, you know, casually unbuttoned to the top. She can determine in her mind that she's going to energize you to her. And she can release an energy that as she's walking, she is already permeating her energy into you to say, I can get him to look at me. I can lift my eyebrows a certain way. And some women will exercise that just to dethrone your queen.
Right.
So you don't look at other women because you're not going to let nobody come in the back door and do anything to offend and dethrone your queen. Because every time you let that happen, it makes your queen feel insecure when she is the keeper of your castle. So don't let those other women work their wiles on you and throw you off your game. They will penetrate your castle, and then you won't even have one. They just exercising their ability of energizing femininity and promiscuousness. Shoot, sometimes I go out and do it just to exercise. I don't do it with couples. When I see couples, I acknowledge the woman. I acknowledge the queen the queen, because I wouldn't do that to another woman. When I meet a couple, I will totally ignore the male and greet the female first. I give honor, and then I'll recognize the man. That's what a woman does. But you got loose cannons going on who just, out to learn how to manage and sowing their own wild oats. They just playing the game. They're just exercising their femininity. But it's costing you. It's like you letting a whole bunch of back doors in your castle left open, and they can come in at the whim, and your queen is like, Pascal, what the fuck are you doing? This is ours. Why are you letting people just come in here and steal apples and take bread? And I've got that metered and counted out for the week and for the month. And your love too. Why are you letting people come in and get the essence of your energy and your adorning looks at them? Why are you giving them an inlet into what we have? Now, if you don't value what we have, then we don't have to have it, because you're actually diminishing her value, her worth, your worth with her, your meaning with her, what you're building together. You are devaluing it and diminishing it in the cheapest way. And it hurts. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Don't hurt her like that. And as spiritual as you are, recognize what you're doing to her. You're unnecessarily hurting her. And for her to act like, for her to get a little teed off and then just like go on and handle and do what she got to do, it's building up a scab between you and her to receive your true affection, or for her to be open to receive and give you her true, desirous, unlimited affection. Do you hear me? I don't hear anyone.
I muted you, Pascal. Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Oh, it was getting loud and I muted him.
Okay. You hear me, Pascal?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, very insightful. Very, very insightful. And the realization that when you're meeting a couple, you address the woman first. It's very revealing. Because you see women that address the men first, and you know what's their intention.
Now, I'll tell you this. If you're with your wife and a woman comes up to you and addresses you first, the first thing you do is say, and this is my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And you say her name, and then you say, it's so good for us to see you here. You include yourself as a us with your wife. That
Right.
shuts the door on any little squirmy inclination, and watch your wife just peacock present. She will be present.
Right.
You don't let no woman step to you and ruffle your feathers and stroke your ego. Because if she ain't stepping to the two of you as the one that you are, whether your wife is present or not, then she doesn't mean you all any real good. No other woman should have authority, not over you, but with you, but the woman that you have chosen to be your wife. And you let every other woman in the world know it. And other women will respect you for the man that you are. They might even want you more, but you be like, baby, this is all shut down. This is my castle, and we reign together.
That's beautiful said. And like I feel like it's the biggest present you can give to a woman, to make her feel important, to feel that she belong. Well, I wouldn't say like belong to you, but just, that she's with you.
That you honor her for the gift that she is to you, and that you have accepted with the authority to be honorable to her.
Yeah, it's almost like you go to a party and then you bring a gift, and then you don't give it, or like you don't present to the host. You just keep it on the side. And then at the end of the day, maybe like, well, at the end of the party or whatever, it's just like, oh, by the way, here's my gift. So my gift is my wife.
I'm not getting that fully.
So if I go to a party and I'm bringing a gift, which is my wife, then instead, then like, when I walked in the door, I don't, instead then like, okay, here's my gift, I brought a bottle of wine or whatever for you guys to enjoy. It's like presenting my wife. Then I just put the gift on the side corner, and I don't, or I hide it, right? And then I go on with the party, and at the end of the night, I'm like, oh, by the way, I brought you a bottle of wine.
I'm missing how your wife is the gift. You would never give your wife away.
I see what you mean. Yeah. No, it's more like presenting. Yeah. Okay. I get it what you mean. Yeah, the analogy is not. Yeah.
I apologize. I have a call.
No, it's great. It's great. Yeah.
All right. I gotta run, you guys. Have an awesome day. Thank you so much. I've grown so much.
Thank you, Sandra, for being here.
Have a great day, Sandra. I gotta step out too, Pascal.
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
All right, man.
You
have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.